The Stoics figured this out centuries before we did. He was one of the richest men in Rome and he called his life a waste. Seneca was one of the wealthiest men in ancient Rome. He advised emperors, wrote philosophy, and lived in luxury most people could never imagine. And then one day he sat down and wrote the most honest letter of his life. And this is the part that actually changes lives. He wrote it to himself. He said, "We are not given a short life. We are given a long life and we waste it. Send this to someone who needs it." This is what discipline actually looks like, not motivation. He was one of the greatest philosophers who ever lived and he died like this. Chrysippus of Soli was the third leader of the Stoic school and arguably the philosopher who turned Stoicism from a small movement into a system of thought. He wrote over 700 books. He also, according to ancient sources, died laughing. But the real lesson is what he did next. He had given a donkey some wine, watched it try to eat figs while intoxicated, and found it so funny that he laughed until he died. His death became famous as proof that even the gravest thinkers could find joy in the ridiculous. The Stoics did not preach misery. They preached clarity. That's the kind of discipline nobody talks about. Go back and watch how this started. The Stoics figured this out centuries before we did. He had every reason to believe he was special. He chose not to. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire for nearly 20 years. He had absolute power over millions of lives. In his private journal he wrote about himself the way most people would never dare. He reminded himself that Alexander the Great and his mule driver both ended up as dust. But the real lesson is what he did next. That emperors who thought themselves immortal all died and were forgotten. That the people who praised him today would be dead within a generation. He wrote these things not out of despair but to stay honest. He believed that a person who forgot their own smallness became dangerous. That's the kind of discipline nobody talks about. Send this to someone who needs it. Epictetus said, "Nothing is enough for the man to whom enough is too little." If you cannot be happy with what you have now, more will not fix it, because the goalpost moves the moment you reach it. There is always a nicer car, a bigger house, the next thing. The person who learns to want what they already have has found something no amount of money can buy. Contentment is not getting everything you want, it is wanting what you have. Read that again. Follow for daily Stoic wisdom. The idea drawn from Aristotle and embraced by the Stoics, we are what we repeatedly do, so excellence is not an act but a habit. You are not defined by the one good day or the one bad choice. You are the sum of what you do over and over. Greatness is not a dramatic moment, it is a boring routine repeated when no one is clapping. Stop waiting for motivation to strike. Build the habit, show up daily, and let the small repeated actions quietly turn you into someone remarkable. Read that again. Follow for daily Stoic wisdom. The Stoic chain: watch your thoughts for they become words, watch your words for they become actions, your actions become your destiny. It all starts in your head. The thought you repeat becomes the words you say, the words become the actions you take, and the actions, repeated, become the life you live. Most people let their minds run wild and wonder why their lives feel out of control. Guard the first link in the chain. Master your thoughts, and you are quietly mastering your entire destiny. Read that again. Follow for daily Stoic wisdom. This is what discipline actually looks like, not motivation. Epictetus asked this question every time he felt worried. Epictetus taught one idea above all others. He said every event in your life falls into one of two categories: things you control and things you do not. Your opinions, your choices, your reactions, those are yours. The weather, other people's behavior, your reputation, your health, whether your flight is delayed, whether someone likes you, those are not. Go back and watch how this started. The Stoics figured this out centuries before we did. He owned nothing. He controlled everything. Epictetus was born a slave. His master once twisted his leg to test whether he would show pain. Epictetus looked at him calmly and said, "You are going to break it." The master twisted harder. The bone snapped. Epictetus said, "Did I not tell you it would break?" He felt the pain. But he refused to give his master what he wanted. Easier said than done, but still true. Save this. Follow Stoic Edge daily. Marcus Aurelius said, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" The insult lasts a second. Your anger about it can ruin a whole day, a friendship, a career. Anger is a brief madness that costs you far more than whatever caused it. The person who provoked you has moved on, while you are still burning. The strongest response to provocation is to stay unmoved. The one who cannot be angered cannot be controlled. Save this one. Follow Stoic Edge for daily wisdom. Seneca said, "The time to prepare is not when the storm arrives, but long before it." Hard times do not announce themselves. The job lost, the loss, the betrayal, they come without warning. The Stoics built strength in the calm so they would have it in the chaos. Do not wait for the crisis to start becoming strong. The discipline you build today is the armor you will be grateful for on the day everything goes wrong. Read that again. Follow for daily Stoic wisdom. This single idea will change how you see everything. He was outnumbered 5-1 and he spent the night reading philosophy. The night before the Battle of Leuthen in 1757, Frederick the Great of Prussia faced a situation that looked impossible. His army of 30,000 men was about to face an Austrian force of 80,000. His generals told him the odds were unsurvivable. His advisors suggested retreat. Frederick dismissed them and went to his tent alone. He spent that night reading. Not military strategy. Tag someone who needs this today. This is what discipline actually looks like, not motivation. Epictetus taught one question that instantly sorts your problems into solvable and pointless. Epictetus opened his most famous teaching with what he considered the single most important distinction a person could ever learn. He said that some things are within our power, and some things are not. Within our power are our own opinions, our choices, our desires, and our reactions. Save this. Follow Stoic Edge daily. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Decide who you are before the day decides for you. If you would be calm, disciplined, kind, name it first, then let every action prove it." Most people drift, reacting to whatever happens, and become whoever the world pushes them to be. The Stoic chooses first and acts second. Identity comes before behavior. Know who you are, and the right actions follow. Keep this one close. Follow for more. Most people never learn this until it is too late. The most powerful man in the world did this before he spoke to anyone. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. He commanded millions of soldiers, controlled the largest empire on earth, and held the power of life and death over every citizen. And every single morning, before he did anything else, he sat alone and wrote. Not orders. Not strategy. He wrote reminders to himself. Things like, "You will meet difficult people today." Easier said than done, but still true. Tag someone who needs this today. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The thing blocking your path is the path." A small fire is smothered by a log, but a strong fire devours it and grows hotter. Same obstacle, opposite outcome, decided entirely by what you bring to it. The failure teaches you the lesson. The betrayal shows you who to trust. Stop praying for an easy road and become someone who turns every wall into a door. Save this one. Follow Stoic Edge for daily wisdom. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." You can own everything and still feel empty, or own little and feel free. Poverty is not a number in a bank account, it is a hunger that no amount ever fills. The man who needs nothing is richer than the king who always needs more. Want what you already have for one day, and you will feel wealthier than chasing it for 10 years. Save this one. Follow Stoic Edge for daily wisdom. This is the one thing weak people never do. He did not just accept what happened. He loved it. The Stoics developed a concept they called amor fati. Love of fate. Not just accepting what happens to you. Actively loving it. This is harder than it sounds. When Marcus Aurelius faced a plague that killed millions, when his trusted generals betrayed him, when his own son turned against everything he had built, he did not pretend these things were fine. Rewatch the first 3 seconds. You'll catch it. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You can have all the money and freedom in the world and still be a slave to your impulses, your phone, your temper, your cravings. Real freedom is not doing whatever you feel like. It is being able to do what you know you should, even when you do not feel like it. The person who cannot say no to themselves is owned by every urge that passes through them. Read that again. Follow for daily Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say." This is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you. If today could be your last, you would stop wasting it on grudges, on pettiness, on later. You would call the person you keep meaning to call. You would say the thing you keep swallowing. Remembering you will die is the fastest way to remember how to live. Do not save your life for a someday that may never come. Keep this one close. Follow for more. The Stoics figured this out centuries before we did. If you do number 3, you are stronger than most people alive. Mental strength is not about never feeling pain. The Stoics taught that it is about how you respond to it. Here are 6 signs you are mentally stronger than you think. 1. You can sit alone with your own thoughts without needing constant distraction. Most people cannot survive 10 minutes without reaching for their phone. Easier said than done, but still true. Tag someone who needs this today.